Hi, this is Ed Barks. Welcome to this edition of Communications Training TV. Today I'll talk about how and when to conduct interviews with reporters on an off-the-record basis, providing insights designed to help you sharpen your communications edge today and into the future. Let's get started. These findings are based on my research report, Can We Talk Off the Record? Resolving Disagreements, Increasing Understanding Between Reporters and Public Relations Practitioners. You can get your copy of the executive summary online at barkscom.com. The research was conducted with my clients in mind, in hopes of, number one, resolving disagreement among those who view off the record as a valuable tool versus those who go so far as to call it a lie, and number two, advancing understanding between journalists and public relations practitioners. Now, before delving into the details, I should make one thing clear. It is my firm belief that journalistic techniques such as off the record should be used only by highly experienced communicators, and then only in select situations. This is not a tactic to be taken lightly, nor one to be used by inexperienced individuals or those who do not have everyday responsibility for media relations. Understood? Okay, then let's continue. There can be disagreement, sometimes strong disagreement, about how and when to conduct an off-the-record interview. Some public relations practitioners see the value in this technique. Others say it should never be used, with some even going so far as to claim there is no such thing as off-the-record. Please, even those who are antagonistic toward off-the-record interviews must acknowledge that the practice is very real. Like it or not, it is a long-standing part of the media relations toolkit. Hey, I've used techniques like off-the-record and on-background countless times during my tenure as a Washington, D.C. communicator and have never been burned once. It's like any tool. You have to know how and when to use it. Now, if you choose not to use it, fine. If you don't feel you have the sophistication to use it safely, again, fine. But those who ignore the reality of off the record are depriving themselves and their spokespeople and their clients of a potentially valuable tool. Some of the discoveries in Can We Talk Off the Record are hardly surprising. For one, there is a lack of consistent definition of off the record. Indeed, there is much blurring of lines over such journalistic terms of art as off the record, on background, and not for attribution. This suggests the need for common definitions. An additional expected finding. Trust about the use of off the record is fragile. While public relations practitioners claim that reporters sometimes break pledges to keep material off the record, no reporters admit to violating such confidences. The research also unearthed some rather unexpected discoveries. For instance, even those who argue against speaking off the record have evidently used the tactic at some point. In addition, public relations practitioners with a journalistic background see far more value in utilizing off-the-record interviews than their colleagues who lack reporting experience. Here's what this means. Those with a reporting background should help educate their colleagues who are inexperienced in the ways of a newsroom. This finding also calls into question the wisdom of hiring staff for media relations positions that lacks reporting credentials. What's the bottom line? Can We Talk Off the Record issues 10 recommendations in an attempt to resolve disagreements over use of off the record and to increase understanding between journalists and public relations practitioners. Some of the highlights from those 10 recommendations. Keep media interviews on the record unless there is a compelling reason to do otherwise. Develop and adhere to recommended standard definitions of off the record and other media relations techniques. Distribute those definitions to reporters, public relations practitioners, and to professional organizations to which they belong in an effort to achieve greater consistency and to minimize misunderstanding. Agree to ground rules before beginning an interview. And refrain from using such canards as there is no such thing as off the record or off the record is a lie. You'll find all 10 recommendations when you download the report's executive summary at barkscom.com. Begin to apply this knowledge about off-the-record interviews by asking yourself, what is the one lesson I can take from this video and apply right away? And how can I use this advice to help boost my career and my organization over the long run? I'm Ed Barks. Thanks for joining me for this edition of Communications Training TV. Be sure to check out all of my video learning resources and get in touch whenever I can help you sharpen your communications edge.